So, yeah, the trade must have taken place prior to this, but they didn't announce it officially until both picks were made. So, Indiana had originally drafted Bilal Coulibaly at pick 7, biggest riser of the draft.
Yeah,
you
by
know,
far.
you did a video on him the other day, and you were expecting him to go possibly, or
watching.
hoping to go to the Lakers at pick 17. That obviously didn't work out. He's actually slid into the top 10. I did say in the mock draft and in the biggest risers and sleepers of the draft, that video that we did like a week ago, that he was one of the guys that was putting his name out there after his strong performances at the French Championship games again alongside Victor Wembanyama for Mets 92. So he's absolutely killed it in terms of getting his name all the way into the top 10. Wemby actually tweeted and said I knew he was a top 10 talent, but not many people could see that he should be top 5. Yeah. So by all accounts, I think, he's one of those boom or bust kind of players.
No, for sure.
There's been a bad history of French guards, especially the likes of Frank Ntilikina, who was, again, expected to be this next big thing, but he was very raw, and obviously he hasn't turned out the way that the New York Knicks anticipated him to turn out, hence why they traded him, and he's bounced around a few different organizations. But I do feel like Bilal Coulibaly playing at that high level alongside a guy like Vic to push him and to, help him become the prospect he is, playing alongside a guy like that who's been obviously highly publicized. I don't know if I'm a fan of this, because Jarris Walker was the next pick, by the way. Sorry, he was the 8th pick. We actually drafted him, but then the trade took place. So if you didn't watch the draft, 8 and 7 were pick swapped. So we gave up some second rounders for him. So I don't know. Just with our drafting history, Denny Avdia over Tyrese Halliburton,
Johnny Davis,
Corey Kispert, he's shown signs, but again, there's nothing clear cut to say that he can add other dimensions to his game. So to add a guy like Bilal Coulibaly, mind you, we obviously did get Jordan Poole in that trade for Chris Paul, and we managed to nab a couple of extra picks, or one pick from that situation. So, first round of next year and 2025. Sorry, not a 2025. 2026 or something like that. Yeah, first rounder. So the fact that we managed to get something in return for the Chris Paul was actually great. And obviously having Tyus Jones thrown into the mix in that Kristaps Porzingis trade, I do like our lineup now, especially considering we are in rebuild mode. But this draft pick could come back to bite us if it doesn't turn out to be good, and if Jarris Walker ends up being, or even Cam Whitmore end up being perennial all-star players, and Bilal Coulibaly ends up being a Frank Ntilikina kind of player, which, again, nothing wrong with that. Yeah. But when you're picking him at number 7, and when you've, like I said, had history of drafts going poorly year on year and not picking the right players, I kind of wanted just a secure pick in this situation. But I can understand it's that high potential where he could end up being like a top 5 or 10 player in the league, a bit like a Giannis, or he could end up being, like I said, the complete opposite. So it's one of those ones that's going to be very tough, but I'm undecided at the moment about it. Yeah. I'm happy that we've gone a different direction and we finally gotten rid of the players that we needed to start this rebuild up and not be in that middle ground. But at the same time, Bilal Coulibaly is still, the jury's still out on whether I'm a fan of this pick or not.
Yeah, I feel like Coulibaly, it's like he's going to have to fight for every minute he plays on the floor with Tyus Jones, with Jordan Poole. Like your backcourt depth chart, definitely it's looking strong. Because he's not a traditional guard. Like, he's shown signs that he can be a playmaker. But even in his under 21 stats, like, he's averaging 2.5 assists per game, and there's flashes where he makes plays you're like, wow. But then at the same time, it's not like he's a certified ready-made point guard right away.
Yeah, facts.
And even Danny's shown signs of playmaking, so he kind of needs to find what position he'll play in the NBA, and it's got to be tough because obviously Jordan Poole's got to want to get his. If you guys keep Kyle Kuzma, that's a given. And then Tyus Jones is he's a ready-made, he's a bucket. Like, he'll come in and do his thing. He can easily start in this league, probably the best backup point guard from last season. So I hope this pick works out for you. I like the kid, Coulibaly. But it'll be interesting for sure.
Yeah. I don't really, like I said, I don't hate Coulibaly as a player.
Yeah.
I think he's got, like I said, probably the most upside in this whole draft
It's just
outside
very
of Vic.
bold.
But it's just very bold, especially, like I said, with all our past failures and wrongdoings in terms of drafting talent
Yeah.
and missing out on, all-star level talent in the process. That's where I'm skeptical. So I want this to work more than anyone because I'm a Wizards fan. But yeah, we'll just have to wait and see.